Today, it's not me sharing the experience. It's my friend Sam Varis from Triple Point Charts. How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Like, to me, It actually seemed like the same thing, just a lot of terminology was different.
Definitely. I would agree with that. Yeah, it really is just like it's an advanced terminology that comes along with options that scares people.
Like, imagine in real life, you catch a falling knife. That's sick. But
yeah,
how about this? It ends up in your hand, right? If you just let the knife hit the ground and pick it up, the knife is still in your hand.
Exactly.
But, you didn't worry about the risk of trying to catch a falling knife.
Don't try to be Hercules out here. Let the thing fall down and let the dust settle. And then once it gets to some kind of normality, then make your assessment and jump back in. But it's less impressive to catch a falling knife than to be consistent with trading. That's the most impressive thing as a trader, is to be consistent. And people get wrapped up in, it is cool. Like, I will admit, I have caught a falling knife before, multiple times, on the market. I've grabbed a security at the very lowest point that it was. I did it last week and I felt really cool, but it means nothing. It means nothing if you can't do it tomorrow and if you can't do it next week.
Yeah. No, I mean, we all do it. We've all caught falling knives before, right? At the bottom of the coronavirus crash, I bought oil at the very, very bottom, made 350%, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, it's not like I always am able to catch that. Like, that's just one highlight, standout scenario. And like when let's say you do catch a falling knife, you need to be able to make the distinction between whether that was due to skill or whether that was due to luck. There's a book I've read. It might be called Thinking in Bets, I believe. It goes over a lot of poker analogies, but basically it's like you need to think about the likelihood of something happening. So let's say catching a falling knife, it's like 5%, 10% likely that you are going to pick the bottom. So when it happens, you need to say, okay, was this because I actually did something unique and I knew something, or is it because I just got lucky? And when you can do that, you're able to focus better on what actually works rather than what gamblers, they don't focus on what works. They catch the falling knife and they mistakenly think it's because of skill. So they do it again and again and again. And with that 10% success rate, they fail 9 times out of 10. But they let that one time it wins boost their ego and think they've got it figured out.
Yeah, before you hit the trading floor, drop that ego.
Yeah.
There is no room for ego here, ever. And even my mentor, I saw him take the largest loss in his trading career, right in front of me during coronavirus. While you were profitable, he was crying. That's the way it goes. And he thought for sure that oil was going to bounce back extremely quickly, and this was just an outlier. It was nothing that was going to continue, and he was wrong. It was because he got too confident in his understanding of the market, because the market is evolving, and if your understanding isn't evolving, then the market's going to leave you behind, period.
Yeah.
It's just, I saw 6 figures get erased from his account instantly, and it was, oh dude, he literally told me, he closed his computer and he said, I need you to leave right now. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm leaving. Don't worry. And, this guy was extremely successful, huge house, cars, boats, ATVs, all of that, and all from trading. He's just a day trader. And I watched him lose 6 figures right there in front of me. And I was like, I don't know if this is for me or not. It was terrifying. Yeah, it was terrifying. I mean, that was like, I don't know, 2 weeks into my full-time journey, where he sent me home. He sent me home after his largest loss ever. And I was like, dang, this was my mentor that just lost it all. It was pretty scary, but I kept pushing forward, and I realized, what? Oil's not for me.
Yeah.
I had to find the market that worked for me, and luckily I did. And if my market evolves past me, then I'll find another market. I'll find a market that I can understand better.
Yeah. I think that's a good point too, about like, it sucks losing 6 figures instantly. Yeah. Like that's bad, but like, it's a good point in the sense that professionals have losing trades too. We have massive losing trades. It's part of the game. And I think, again, like I said before, the thing that separates the pros is that they calculate these losses and they can handle them.
For sure.
And like, yeah, he lost 6 figures, right? He can handle 6 figures. Like, obviously, it was hard. Biggest loss of his career, but he can still handle a 6-figure loss.
Yeah, he's still trading today, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, he just had to send me home, you know, so I didn't hear the foul language that came out of his mouth, and he didn't ruin his reputation in front of me. That was probably all it was.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on to a slightly different topic. Do you use TradingView to do analyses on your options trades? I do, 100%. Does your options platform have a built-in charting system that you can use or not?
No, you know, honestly, I mainly use, and this is going to make me sound extremely amateur, but you know, I'm extremely transparent with what I do, but I mainly use a platform called Robinhood. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
I've heard of Robinhood.
Yeah, the reason I use it is because it's no commissions. It's totally free. So I trade my options on Robinhood, but I chart off of TradingView.
How does Robinhood make money?
There's a it's called like work order flow or something, I believe, that they do. So they make money off of the trade, but it's through their clearinghouse or something like that they make the money off of.
Right. Do they have a bid-ask spread or not?
They do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That makes more sense now. I reckon it could be maybe revolutionary. I don't know. I don't own a brokerage or anything. I don't know how it works, but like what if you had a company like Robinhood or whatnot, and you offered 0 commission and 0 spread? Imagine how much more successful all of the people using your platform would be with 0 spread, especially scalpers.
Oh God, I could not imagine.
And maybe you could you could charge a lot of money for that platform. Like, I would pay 6 figures right now for a platform like that, one-off, or I would pay like a subscription that's like 5 figures a year. Like, imagine. And so they just get recurring payments from these big accounts who, like, in the instance where they're trading with the spread, it might cost them $20,000-$30,000 a year in spread or commission, and then you drop that down to 10 grand one off, regardless of the volume of trades and whatnot. Like that, you could get a lot of big people to switch, but I don't know
most definitely
if and how that's possible. If someone's watching and you own one, do that. You'll get at least 1 or 2 clients.
Well, yeah, you'll get us. Yeah. But yeah, that is what I fight all day long, is the bid-ask spread. Like that's it. That's my component that makes me more profitable or less profitable all day long.
It's really big. Even like a couple pips, it's big. I remember I was doing this little like challenge account, like 1 grand to 10 grand in a year. And I was demo trading just to get a feel of like what kind of style I was going to go for, because I was going to make videos on it, but I wanted them to be entertaining as well, not like a whole day and I took 1 trade. I wanted it to be fun to watch, and that wasn't particularly my style of trading, so I wanted to test it out on a demo account. Anyway, so I'm on the demo account and I've got this chart. I'm on the 1 second chart. It's going bop bop bop, and I'm like, all right, buy, sell, and I made like six trades in 15 minutes. All of them, based on the chart, were profitable, or maybe one was a loser. I'm like, yeah, surely I just made like 25% on my account. And I checked and it had halved. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
How's it halved? I'm like, oh my God, the spread did that. It's actually crazy how much more difficult spread makes trading.
And then you really ramp it up and it goes up exponentially when you're trading options, because one options contract is 100 shares.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking 3 cents. That's, you know, it can really change the game for you. I mean, I've had a bid-ask spread of like 10 cents before, and it equates for the whole amount of profit that I made that day. It would sell, and I'm like, what the fuck? I just lost all my fucking money. Like instantly. Like, it's pretty wild, dude. But again, that's just, you have to factor all those into your plan. And if you don't, you're going to lose at the end of the day.
Yes, an example of not factoring that into your plan and losing. I just filmed a video. I wanted to do something that was more entertaining and to try, like, let's say, like, grab a new audience. So I was playing Elden Ring, and whenever I died, I make a trade. I thought that would be kind of entertaining.
That's cool as hell.
Thanks. And I filmed it on a weekend. Only thing that was tradable was crypto. The spread was about $5.5 billion. And, and so as soon as I placed, it was on Ethereum. I placed, the first trade was 10 units, and the spread was almost $100.
Yeah.
And on the weekend, there's almost no volume. The price wasn't even moving. And,
for sure.
I ended up paying, like, so at the end of it, the trade's lost as well. Like, I mean, go figure, trading when you die in Elden Ring. But out of all of that, I'm pretty sure I paid, like, it was like $200 or $300 just in the spread, and the actual price was $100.
Right.
I paid triple in spread than the actual trade moved.
Yeah, I mean, they got to make their money somehow. So, I don't hold them accountable for it. But it is a parameter we have to factor in as traders to maximize our profit.
Yeah, 100%. I think a lot of people don't factor it in too, and
not at all. But I'm not going to say stop doing the Elden Ring challenge, because that sounds really cool. I would tune in for that.
I might not do it again in Elden Ring. I'm thinking I might make it like a monthly series or something, like playing some game and determining some criteria to trade when I play that game. I like playing games. I like to do it in my free time. So if I can turn that into work and dude, it's fun. It's fun.
Imagine doing that with like Fortnite, which is an extremely watched and streamed game, and you can team up with a Fortnite streamer, and when he dies, boom, you go into a trade.
That could be a thing. Like from a business perspective, if I go to some Fortnite streamer who's got like 10,000 views, and he's like, all right, this guy, he's putting real money on the line, thousands every time I trade. That could blow up. Like,
dude, and you sit there side by side with them. Yeah, dude, that would be awesome.
Yeah, that's interesting. I might see if I can find someone who's down.
I have a buddy who's a professional gamer. Like, this is all he does. I could hook you guys up, and he's really good. He's really good. So hopefully,
and he never dies. That would be good.
Yeah, you're just sitting there like, damn, I want to fucking trade. Yeah, no, I will definitely send you his information, because I've known him since we were like 12 years old, and all he's ever done is play video games. He's never worked a normal job, nothing. He just has been solely devoted to video games, and he travels the whole country playing. It's really
so
cool.
Cool.
Yeah,
you've actually just reminded me of something before, because obviously when he was 12, and I assume he wanted to be a professional gamer when he was 12.
Well, yes, but I mean, there wasn't even the avenues that we have now. You know what I mean? He knew that this is all he wanted to do. He wanted to make a out of playing games.
Yeah, so like when he was like, I want to be a professional gamer, if he tells his parents, maybe his friends, they'd be like, don't be stupid. You're never going to make money playing video games. Get a real job.
Yeah, and, for sure.
You mentioned before that you had that upper level management job, and when you were like, I'm going to go day trading full time, people are like, no, what are you doing? How do you deal with people, naysayers, trying to pull you back down to their level, and they don't want you to like succeed and fly high, so to speak?
Well, it's difficult, man. I mean, it's on a psychological level. You question yourself at every turn, and especially in trading. At every loss, you question yourself. You're like, damn, maybe they're right. But me personally, fortunately, I was raised in a house that, like, my parents always told me to just go for it. So I might have an advantage over someone who, didn't have that type of foundation. But what I would say to somebody is, and this is going to sound very redundant again, but, weigh out everything. Sit there and make a very comprehensive plan of what you're going to do. And when someone tells you, this is a silly idea, this is really stupid of you, go back to your plan. Go back to your plan and make sure that the plan makes sense to you. And if it does, go for it. If not, I mean, you can find another job. I could go back to that job right now.
Labor market's booming right now. Jobs for everyone.
Yeah.
No one wants to fill.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up in South Georgia, where when me and my wife first got married, I sold rattlesnake skins for a living.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, dude, like $3 a foot. You know what I mean? I grew up on the river. It was cool.
What do you do with rattlesnake skin? Do they turn into like wallets and stuff like that?
It was like a grandma that lived in my community, and she would buy them from me for $3 a foot and turn them into belts and everything. So I would hunt and kill my own food. I'd fish, and we'd eat fish or deer or hog every night, and then we'd go kill rattlesnakes all day. And that's how me and my wife made it for like the first year, which is absolutely insane. I don't recommend that. It's really dangerous. But yeah, so I have a different viewpoint when it comes to that stuff. Like, you can always find another job. And if you can't always find another job, it's still worth going for. Don't go 100% on something if you're not willing to, when everything crashes, to pick back up the pieces and go get another job. There's no pride in it. You can always, you can always start back over.
Yeah.
And I would tomorrow if things didn't work out. I have zero pride in it. I can go back to any job and start working. But like you, I feel like you probably would relate to this. As soon as I built back up enough savings, I would jump back into the market because I know the potential that's there in front of me.
Yeah, 100%. I've basically been self-employed my whole life. I worked at an abattoir for 2 days before I quit. And then
what is that?
It's where they like kill cows for meat. I didn't do cow killing. I was the trash picker-upper.
Okay. An abattoir.
On my first day, I had to shovel like an actual ton of meat out of a skip bin because they overfilled it. I was in the cool room. That's where I picked up all the rubbish from. And so I was in like long pants, jumper, underneath all this warm clothes that we put on in the cool room, in boots, and I got this hoodie thing and this mask and stuff. And then we're outside in the middle of summer, outside the cool room, blowing hot air on us. I was like, I'm going to pass out.
Yeah.
And I quit the next day. Screw that.
Yeah, dude. It's the worst, man. Like, I've never heard of that phrase abattoir. I mean, that must be
an Australian thing.
Yeah, because I grew up around cattle and stuff, and we just called it, the ranch.
The ranch. Yeah, I mean, people might think if they hear that, oh my god, he quit after 2 days. Like, what are you, a wimp? Like what? But it's like, I knew that I wanted to be self-employed, and when I remember walking down the corridor to the cool room on my own, like after I'd gone to the toilet, and I'm like, man, what am I doing here? I'm getting paid minimum wage to pick up trash and shovel meat. What is this? And
dude.
Yeah, other than that, I started with graphic design. Like at this point, I've been doing graphic design for like 12 years.
Nice.
I don't do it professionally anymore. Like it's mostly just my own stuff now. But yeah, I did graphic design. I've done web design. Then I did some web consulting. I did a little bit of fitness programs. But it's like all along, I was like, self-employed is the way. And like my desire and commitment to that was 10 out of 10. And if your desire is not 10 out of 10, like a legitimate 10 out of 10 burning desire, you have to have it. You don't want it any other way, no matter what. Then I just don't think you're going to succeed. Like, to be honest.
But I mean, it's a little bit more prevalent when you are self-employed because nobody's writing your checks. But even, I can tell you as an upper level management inside of a retail environment, there's winners and losers inside of those buildings too. Like there's people who are always going to succeed and they're always going to be a go-getter. And then there's the people that are going to do the bare minimum, period. It's just it's a human experience thing. And sometimes people just don't got it or they just don't want to dig deep enough to get it.
Yeah.
And it can, I think everybody can do it. Cause I remember having really underperforming employees on my team and having conversations with them and being like, listen, man, you can do this. Like I'll give you, offered them whatever kind of help they needed. And I remember there was nothing more beautiful to me than to see an underperforming employee totally turn their performance around and be inspired by the work that they were doing. And then they promote and earn more money and then just kind of understand like that if you work harder and you put in more time, things typically get better for you. I don't know. For me, I really enjoyed being able to inspire somebody to do a little better.
Yeah, I definitely like that idea of you got to put in the extra mile, put in the extra work, the extra commitment. I was at the gym like a little while ago and I was eating a burger from Hungry Jack's, which is like Burger King, and it was terrible. It was like slapped together and I'm like, man, what? come on, have a little bit of pride in your work. You can't take the
Yeah.
extra half a second to put the meat on straight. What is this? And the guy that I was with actually used to work there. And he's like, nah, screw the customers, man. I get paid minimum wage. How about you pay me more and then I'm going to work harder? And I'm like, come on, man. You can't say screw the customers. They're the reason you're getting paid at that job. How about you work a little harder and then you'll get rewarded for it? Like, you're thinking about it backwards.
For sure. Yeah, it's a mentality thing. And again, I would assume that it goes back to typically the way people are raised. If they have a positive environment and if they can view somebody that's an overachiever, probably more apt to be an overachiever themselves. It's huge systemic issues that lead people into the wrong path, but it is ultimately when you become an adult and you become, the owner of your own destiny, you got to wake up and just do shit sometimes. You just got to make shit happen.
Yeah.
And that's where the winners are always found, is the ones that just make shit happen.
Yeah. That's why I say your desire to win has to be 10 out of 10. Because when you're doing something that no one else does, like when you go to school, they teach you how to be a nice, good employee. They don't teach you to be creative. They don't teach you to go and create your own company or be a day trader or whatever, or a gamer, especially a gamer. And
for sure,
when you say I'm going to do this professionally, people say don't be stupid, you're going to lose your money, that's so risky, why would you do that? And your own family can say stuff like that too.
Definitely.
Like, don't get me wrong, I love my mum, right? But at the start of this journey, she was like, Brendan, go get a real job, don't be stupid. She was like telling me to get on like Social Security, which I had like a moral problem with. And that's not to say that anyone watching this, if you are on Social Security, I don't even need to say that. If people watching this, they're not stupid.
They know.
I'm like, no, I just don't want to. This is what I'm doing. And she would say all the time, Brendan, get a job. Brendan, get on Social Security. You're not making any money. What are you doing? That's why it has to be 10 out of 10. When you've got everyone telling you stop, if it's not 10 out of 10, you're going to stop.
Yeah, you're going to doubt yourself. I mean, and you're going to doubt yourself either way. Even on my largest days of profit, when I leave my office and I get into my car that might need, a repair, or I go to my home that's, in my view, not big enough or whatever, you still are doubting yourself no matter what part of the journey you're on.
Yeah. I remember when I started my company and I got my first few clients, it was cool. And then we went on a little losing streak. We lost like a week, and then we lost 2 weeks, and then we lost 3. I'm like, oh my God, am I a scam? Do I not know? I've been trading for 7 years. Has everything I know wrong? That wasn't English, but anyway. And then it's like, you start doubting yourself. And I think it was because of that pressure of other people's money now.
For sure.
But it's like, we stuck to the course, and like now we look back and we can say, yeah, we've got the average annual return of 60%. It was fine. But it's like, it doesn't change the fact that in the moment you can question yourself when things start to go wrong. And again, that's why your devotion has to be 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, and that directly correlates when you're on the charts. It's the same psychology that you have to battle when you're on the chart, because a lot of times I will close out my winners and I'll let my losers run. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same way with people. It's the same way with when you have a great opportunity in front of you, and the second it starts to go the wrong way, you shut that idea down. You're like, nah, maybe this ain't for me. And that's an incorrect way to do it. Just as if it's the same way with trading. It's as soon as it goes in the wrong direction, that doesn't necessarily indicate it's time to sell. It's just time to reassess and make sure you're still on the right side.
Yeah. And on reassessing, actually, since I made this company, even though it brought up feelings of like imposter syndrome and doubt, they allowed me to make some of the most amazing tools that I have now. And I believe if I never started Murphy Investment Enterprises, I would not have these tools. In hindsight, I was calculating risk wrong. I was just relying on, I was curve fitting my back tests, which is like hyper optimizing it for the history, and it fails in real life. I actually still have one back test for my very first client, his first strategy that I made him. The back test looked amazing. And you look at it now, from the moment I made it, it was amazing. And then it went to zero instantly after I delivered it. And that's really embarrassing.
It is.
And I'm not really someone that gets embarrassed. I'm generally like, I own everything I do. I own it. And if I make a mistake, I made a mistake, and like I'm I'm getting better at owning that now, but still, man, that's embarrassing to claim to be a professional and to do that.
Yeah.
But like, again, I could have let that stop what I'm doing, but instead I use that to make a new risk calculation formula. I made spreadsheets, I made new tools, I'm making my own indice now. Like, if you push forward in the face of uncertainty, you're going to come out the other side a better man or a better woman than you were before.
Yeah, I don't mean to get religious on you or anything, but growing up, my dad always was a pastor. And that what you said reminded me of a sermon that he preached one time that really stuck out in my head. I remember one time he put these planks of wood under people's seats. Like, he had like 1,000 member church. It was like quite a large church. And he would write like insecurity on the board, or he would write failure or whatever it was. And he asked everyone to, look under your seat. If you have a board under your seat, I want you to come up to the front. So everybody, 15, 20 people started walking up to the front with these planks of wood that had different, negative connotated words, negative words on it, failure, insecurity, anger, whatever it is. And he took those boards out of the people's hands and he built a bridge with it. And the purpose of the story is, whatever those negative things that you go through in life, you can look at them as one way or two ways. They can be things that break you, or they can be things that get you over to the other side.
That's amazing.
Yeah, dude, it's a great way to think. Like, you have to make that decision while you're going through it, though. Like, in the times that you are completely uncertain, or the times that you're very afraid, you have to make the decision. Am I going to let this thing define me, or am I going to let this thing push me to the next level?
Yeah.
And it's beautiful, but it is very hard, in the middle of it, in the middle of a crisis, it's very hard to do so. But that's what being a trader, or that's what being a 10 out of 10 person's all about.
Yeah. No, I love that. And that's like an expansion of the thing that I've heard and I've said quite a few times as well. Is just fail your way to success.
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
Yeah.